I'm Nick, and this is my wife, our daughter, our son, and this is our house. I'm a camera operator and editor based in Holland, and part of my job right now is to drive to a film festival in the north of France and interview some of the actors and directors who'll be there, so we can create TV shows all about the entertainment industry. Everyone's heard of film festivals, and everyone's seen interviews with celebrities on and off the red carpet, but not many people see the other side. How much time and effort goes into organising and filming the interviews. That's why I've decided to grab my own camera on this trip and document my experiences as a cameraman at the festival. I've just hit the border of Belgium and France. At the moment, unfortunately, France is at a pretty high level of security for a lot of different reasons that I won't go into. So on the border there's a lot of checks, and so I'm in this traffic now, which has got me wondering what the security at the festival is going to be like. In previous years there's not much, like, you know, you have your pass, you show your pass and you go to where you're going. But due to a couple of bad situations recently, security's jumped up a level. So I think this year at the festival there's going to be a bit more of a problem. After getting through the border and a few more hours in the car, I arrived in town. I then had to rush to the main festival, but it was a little further than I expected. Judging by the map, it's about 15 minutes walk from here, or at least it would be, but I've got a big tripod here and this big bag here, and that's full of cameras. But the advantage is it's a beautiful town, and I'm on my way to work holding cameras for a few days, and that's not exactly something to complain about. Now arrived at the festival though, I was a bit overwhelmed by the amount of security there actually was. The security this year is really intense. They searched through my bag, there's army with guns standing by the red carpet and blocks off all the roads anywhere near it. So I guess it's not just border control that's working hard, it's everywhere at the moment. Of course, after a few bag checks and my pass is verified by the festival staff, I was allowed to get to where I needed to be. So this is the red carpet, probably the most exciting part of any festival. This is like what most people see of a film festival. Red carpet, beautiful dresses, quick kind of couple word answers to simple questions basically, and it's always really busy, very hectic. Of course, I'm not expected to film the red carpet and ask the talent all of the questions, and that's why I met a Belgian reporter there. And he's no stranger to film festivals, having been working at them for most of his professional life. Naturally, he knows what he likes at any given festival.
My favorite part was always watching new movies, movies we were looking forward to. And the second part is always doing interviews. Not necessarily on the red carpet, but as a one-on-one. I always enjoyed that.
We'll get to those one-on-ones in a minute. For now though, let's take a look at how a red carpet works. The way it's organised here is me and other camera operators arrive before everything's going to start, and then Raul arrives and he deals with the people who manage the red carpet. So they have a list and pictures of everyone who's going to come, and he can say, yeah, we want to interview this person, this person, this person, and based on demand and how big they are, we may or may not get the interviews. Sometimes they'll do like a group interview where you have 5 or 6 microphones and everyone's just filming the same thing, which is great because it saves time, but it's not like the exclusive material that everybody wants. However it turns out though, you can always guarantee lots of hard work. Just finished the red carpet session, it was very busy, lots of people, got a couple of interviews, really good ones I think. Some still going on over there as you can see, but I'm going to head home now and check out what I've got. After packing up and saying goodbye to Raul, I headed home to sort out all of the material I'd filmed since arriving at the film festival. The first day's always a bit crazy, with not much downtime. So after the long drive, then heading straight out to work, I decided to get some rest, as tomorrow will be just as busy. In the morning though, I headed out to film some B-roll. So it's a beautiful day as you can see. I've just been walking around the city filming some B-roll with this camera, and basically what B-roll is shots of the town, of people drinking coffee, fountains, the flags, the flowers, this beautiful building behind me. And the point of filming that is, for when I send the interviews back to the editors, it's all well and good having an interview of someone just talking, but it can become a bit stale. So with the B-roll, you got something to cut into it. So when someone says, "Oh, I love this festival because everyone's drinking coffee," they can cut to shots of people drinking coffee. It just puts everything a bit more into context. So it's actually very important to shoot B-roll, behind the scenes kind of stuff. Not all B-roll has to be of the town and of the people visiting the festival though. In fact, it's also useful to get some footage of the stars, and there are a few places that make that very easy. Now it's 10:30, I'm on my way to shoot a photo call, and the photo call in theory is only for photographers, but then again, if I go and film the photographers shooting the people, then that gives the editors even more footage to cut with later on when they're making the item. Another fantastic spot for some nice footage of some big names is down by the beach. Almost every day, a different celebrity is given something pretty special. Most film festivals tend to honour the actors and directors that come here. So as you can see, this is Keanu Reeves, and what he's been given at this festival is a beach house. We're on like the northwest coast of France. There's a beautiful beach here, and well, not all, but most of the people that come tend to get their names on a beach house, and there's a big unveiling with a photo call and stuff. Now that we have a few short interviews on the red carpets each night, and then some B-roll of the stars having their photos taken by a million photographers or unveiling their very own beach hut, it's time to think about getting much more in-depth material of them. And that's where those one-on-one interviews that Raul mentioned come in. Behind me, just there, is where we do the sit-down interviews, and basically that's where we sit down with the stars and have 10-15 minutes to chat to them. Not all festivals do you get that long. Sometimes it's so you only get like 3 minutes. But basically the difference between these interviews and the red carpet interviews is that on the carpet you get 2 or 3 questions, and it's generally about the festival, the clothes they're wearing and the films they're watching, which is fine, that's great. But here, because you get more like 10 minutes with them, you can talk a lot more about their specific movie that they're showing here, but also like a bit more. So for example, yesterday we interviewed Stanley Tucci and spoke to him about, he's written 2 cookbooks, so we spoke to him about those.
Really one cookbook. My parents really wrote the first cookbook with my friend Johnny Scapin.
Well, however many cookbooks he wrote, we're here to get the facts straight from the celebrities themselves. While a 10-minute interview may not sound like much, it's actually a lot more work than you'd expect.
At the start of the festival, you had to make the appointments, you know, and so you went to the different offices to see if you could have an interview, and that was stressful also because, yeah, and sometimes disappointing when you couldn't get the names you wanted, you know, the talent you wanted, and that also was sort of a game, you know.
In the same way that arranging the interviews is a game, so is setting up the gear and getting ready for the talents. It's a beautiful building, as you can see, and the grounds are quite big, but with big names, there's so many people wanting to do interviews that you've got to get the best spot. And today it's kind of lucky because it's cloudy, but on other days it's been so sunny, and obviously you don't want someone to be sitting in direct sunlight for 10 minutes while you talk to them because they'll get sweaty and it will look bad for them. Likewise, you don't want them to have their back to the sun because then their face is in the shade and that really sucks. If for whatever reason we can't get an interview with the talent we want, even on the red carpet, it's not all lost, as there's always a fallback option of the press conferences. My hair's crazy because it's windy today. Yesterday was bright blue sunny skies, today it's kind of grey, very windy, but that's okay because it just means that all the flags are actually flapping. So behind me now is the tent where all the press conferences happen. Now a press conference is like where as many journalists as can fit in the room can come and talk to a director or an actor about their projects, what's coming up, their latest film, the festival, honours, all that kind of stuff. Now, it's not compulsory for me to film it, and depending on how big the movie is, how big the actor is, then I might not choose to do it. If it's like a small independent film, then I'm less likely to come than if, say, Keanu Reeves is in there.
What's your favorite number? 69, dude.
And again, whatever I film while I'm at the festival must be sent back to the editors that evening, which takes an awful long time. Thankfully though, this year I was only in town for a few days, and tonight I'm packing up, loading into the car and heading off home back to my family.